Well, welcome along to the KRTV preview for the Stewards Cup of 2021. We've got 12 races coming up this Saturday, and it's a mixed card. Plenty of action on the polytrack and the turf, and really looking forward to it. You can see behind us the track looking in great condition, the long course looking in superb nick ahead of racing coming up this weekend. Scott, there's a bit to look forward to this weekend. Obviously a Group 2 Stewards Cup, a race with a decent history and only a small field, but a decent field.
Yeah, a couple of Singapore's bright 4-year-olds are stepping out this weekend, Nick, and all paths lead to the Singapore Derby coming up at the end of a month. So it's going to be a great contest, and I think it's going to be a nice, good battle at the last 100 metres of the race too. It
certainly will be. Obviously, some of the headline acts, just to name but two in the race. Obviously, we've got Rocket Star, who's been placed in a couple of Group 1s this year, and also in the lineup as well, Mr. Malik, who many believe is basically on the cusp of winning a group race, and this could possibly be the first one. And Steve Burridge, I don't believe he's had a group winner, Scott, since probably the Oswald's Golden Horseshoe a few years ago, Limbs Lightning, who incidentally obviously won the Lion City Cup that Rocket Star ran so well in.
Yeah, he's one of Singapore's seasoned veteran trainers here is Stephen Burridge. He's won Gold Cups and numerous group events, but he has been a bit quiet on the silverware side of things in the last few years. So yeah, all eyes will be on Mr. Malik, and if he's able to help Steve Burridge lift the trophy for what has been some time.
Yeah, he'd love to get on the winners' podium with well, the virtual podium, I suppose, but a piece of silverware nevertheless. So that race comes up at 5 o'clock. Obviously, Big Heart in the race as well, who won last year's Gold Cup, plus Charisma, who's stepping up in trib. Interesting to see what he can do over the mile. And well, look, you've got to tip your hat to a few of the others in the race, Scott, or at least the sort of the second half of the field. I mean, Senor Don, he's probably the line in the sand, as it were, as to, he certainly warrants his place there. As of Politas, Teller, the Wild Bunch, the Executioner, massive step up, but fair play, they're there and they're taking their chance.
Yeah, it's probably not one of the most in-depth Stewards Cups I've seen for quite a few years. I think the top end of the order is really your picking point for this sort of race, Nick. But look, there could be a little surprise run from one of the lesser performed horses, such as Teller and maybe Politas. He looks to be a horse that has a very good engine at the end of a race. He likes to get back and really fly home. So really keeping an eye on some of those ones at the bottom of the page as well. Yeah,
look, they're interesting runners. Obviously, they're in the field, and good luck to their connections, of course. I mean, the Wild Bunch, I mean, he does continue to improve, so it could be an interesting runner, but off of a mark of 60, it's going to prove very tough, I think, to win a Group 2 off level weight. So that is the 11th race, 5 o'clock, the Stewards Cup. Make sure you're tuned in to this page and also Channel 88 and Singapore Pools to cast your eye over all of that coverage. We start with the Class 5, plenty of those this weekend as well, so they take a little bit of working out. Chief supporting race of the big one, Scott, is a Class 3 handicap. Savvy Command is going up in trip. What did you make of that? A mile for him this weekend?
Yeah, I think the mile won't be a problem for him, Nick. He's a horse that's in a rich vein of form for the moment for Mark Walker, and this weekend I think he can keep that form rolling along.
Yes, indeed. That is race number 10, so 4:30 for that Class 3, the Jamel Malik 2011 Stakes. Obviously, all the races named after previous Stewards Cup winners. The race having only being run over a mile for the third time, and I think back in 2010 it got elevated status to Group 2. So look, regrettably, it's not quite worth the same money as it was a few years ago. I think we had to look back through, didn't we, the archives. I think $500,000 back in 2018, but that regrettably for now is a thing of the past.
Yeah, obviously the prize money has changed in recent times due to the financial structure of the economic situation everybody's in, but still good racing. And look, we still race for a very important Singapore Derby coming up at the end of the month, and it's a great lead-up race for what's going to be a nice 4-year-old series.
Yeah, 3 feature races this month in July, so quite a bit to look forward to. They've also got the 3-year-old Classic coming up in a couple of weeks, and then obviously, as Scott alludes to, the Derby on the 25th of July. But as far as the big race goes, if we're to try and point the viewers of this preview in the direction of the winner, I personally was on the side of Rocket Star. We had a look at him earlier this week, and his trainer Ricardo Lagrange, both he and Steve Burridge, in fact, very hands-on with their horses, as you would have seen on this preview. But for me, Rocket Star, placed in 2 Group 1s this year, I just think he's the one that I personally think he's the one that got to beat. I totally respect Mr. Malik, and he's a quality animal, but for me, he can't beat Group 1 form.
No, he's a horse that's in a very good space at the moment, and he really come close to Minister in the Kranji Mile last start. So he looks to be really well in good order, and I've leaned the way of Mr. Malik, Nick. I think he's a horse that I think Stephen Burridge has done an amazing job with this horse. We all know he had his little hoof issues and health problems, so Steve's just really monitored him and taken his time with him. So judging by what I've seen condition-wise and in his trial, I think he's primed to get a bit of silverware this weekend.
Yeah, he certainly is. Could be between those two. I wouldn't rule out a horse like Senor Don, at a bit of a price to sneak the frame.
Yeah, and gets the services of Louis Beauzelon. There was a nice story on the website this week where, Louis Beauzelon was left without a ride after not being able to hold the ride on Big Hearted. Vlad Jurek takes that ride this week, and Louis Beauzelon pulled the phone out and got call in, and Ricardo Lagrange threw a bone, so he's going to try and make as much use of that as he can.
Yeah, just talking of jockeys, Shafiq Rizwan is back in action as well, and so too Mark Yu, two guys that have been relicensed. Obviously, we're still yet to really get any further developments on the other guys coming from abroad, notably Manuel Nunes, a former champion, and also Derek David as well. So good to see Shafiq back. He's obviously very talented.
He is. He's a very gifted rider, Rizwan Shafiq, and he's a Singapore Gold Cup winner back on Coupe Tardo for Patrick Shaw quite a few years ago, and I believe he was a first one of the first apprentices to win a Group 1 in Singapore. So look, he's got a load of talent, and I'm sure he's going to get here and work hard, and the wins won't be far off very soon.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to welcoming him and Mark back into the fray. Obviously, Mark hasn't really gone anywhere, but Shafiq will be back, having got back from Malaysia and done his quarantine. So, look, really good race day this coming up. 12 races. It's going to be a busy one, as it always is. We've got an excellent looking Class 3. They're looking forward to that, but obviously notably the Stewards Cup, the Group 2 feature coming up at 5 o'clock. So make sure you're fully dialed in for that. And yeah, looking forward to it. Really nice breeze here today, Scott. The track looking in splendid condition. A few of the guys just out on the track working on it there for a few last minute adjustments and so on. I think a few of them are putting down some of the rail as well. So all looks set fair for a big day.
Yeah, I think this is what you'd call a perfect Singapore day here. Blue sky, a fair bit of cloud cover, and the sun's beaming down. So look, the track's going to look to be in pristine order if we don't get too much rain between now and Saturday.
Yep, certainly will indeed. Don't forget to get your iRace magazines as well. Obviously, plenty of information in those, well worth the $7, and you'll certainly be pointed in the direction of a few winners, that's for sure. But from myself and Scott here, we're a few days out from the Stewards Cup. Another feature race coming up here at Kranji. Looking forward to it as well, and hope that you will, along with us here on KRTV, Channel 88 and Singapore Pools, however you decide to watch the action.